and welcome to another episode of Lexx Education. It's the comedy science podcast where comedian, me, Laura Lexx, tries to learn science from her nerdy, very tired, late at night little owl boy, Ron.
Hello, I'm Ron.
Ah, poor Ronnie Honks. He's very tired today because time difference means it's a night record for Ron and a morning record for me. And Ron's had real job stuff to do all day, so he's a little sleepy boy.
I've been at what might be hell on earth.
Oh no, I used to hate those when I had a corporate job.
Yeah. The Excel Centre in London is a truly just strange place. It's just like being in the lobby of an airport.
Yeah.
But without the excitement of going anywhere. You're there, it's you. There were 2 trade shows on simultaneously today.
Oh no.
And so it's you, people from a completely different industry, and then like 3 or 4 rooms of uni students doing exams. So there's just random kids everywhere.
Oh wow. And you haven't even had your job that long. Were you having to try and sell it to people?
Oh yeah, that's easy.
He's a master salesman.
I'm very good at what I do.
Me too, Ron.
Yeah, tell me about Zealand.
Yesterday, I went to the Wetter Live experience. Younger sister of the
Wetter
podcast.
is in like the bug?
Yes. The Wetter workshop, they did all the prosthetics and stuff for Lord of the Rings. That's how they got famous. But yesterday we went to their experience at the Sky Tower. So we looked at like the workshops for 3 movies that they have up, well, I think probably out. That was lots of fun. Younger sister of the podcast finds the Wetter experience very funny, that it's just called the Wetter experience. And then while we were still finding it funny that we were going to a Wetter experience, we found a restaurant in Auckland that is called Monsoon Poon.
Oh no. Was it wetter in the poon?
It must have been. There was a monsoon.
Is that poon spelt as in P-U-N-E?
No. P-O-O-N.
Because I don't know how it's pronounced, if it's poon or pune or Pune or something. I think that's a place in India, but...
It was P-O-O-N.
Was it a strip club? Or...
No, I think it was an Indian restaurant, so perhaps it's a different spelling of the place that you were mentioning, but it's certainly very funny to the English language speaker.
I like that they called it the Sky Tower.
Yeah?
Just feels like all towers are kind of sky towers.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call it the ground mine.
You should. Then more people would know where it was.
Yeah.
It was great fun. We went up then to the 60th floor, and I wasn't really sure, because we're staying on the 16th floor. I was like, oh, we've done quite a lot of looking at the view of the city, you know. And then we went up to the 60th floor, and it was amazing. You see so much of the city, but also, because Auckland is so on the water, you saw all of the coastal bits and how many different islands there are just off the mainland and stuff. It was really cool.
That is cool. I wonder how high up I've ever been in a building.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I regret not going to the top of the Burj Khalifa when I was in Dubai.
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared. I was just on my own. And at that point, I didn't have loads of money. And it was like, I can do maybe one touristy thing while I'm here. And I chose an evening in the desert over the top of the Burj Khalifa.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, though.
Yeah, the evening in the desert was great fun. But just the other people I was traveling with just were not interested in anything because they'd been so many times. So it was one of those trips that's kind of tricky.
I have no interest in going to Dubai.
No, I don't think I would go back again. Unless it was a super well-paid gig. I would throw my morals in the bin for that. But no, I was there for like 10 days, I think. And partly, I was bored because I was on my own. And partly it was summer, so it was so hot. You just couldn't, you couldn't go to the beach. It was too hot. And I think if you want nice hotels and sitting around and stuff, it was fine. But there wasn't a lot else. It's not my sort of holiday place.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm off to Wellington.
Wow, that's close to Taunton. Going to Carnival.
It's a different Wellington, actually, Ron. And I think you knew that.
Yes, I did, Laura. Yes, I did.
Silly boy.
How old were you when you found out not everywhere does Carnival?
Don't know. I've never really thought about it. Was that a big moment for you?
Yeah, it was a big talking point in our friend group because it was like last year. Friend of the podcast, Noah's girlfriend Jess, who's from Liverpool, was just like, "What the fuck are you all talking about? Why is there a carnival in Taunton? You're not from Rio. This is insane." And we were like, "Yeah, carnival happens every year. There's one in Bridgewater. There's one in there's one in Taunton. There's one everywhere." And it's not a thing everywhere. It's like a Southwest thing.
I'd never really thought about it, to be honest. I think didn't Taunton Carnival, die?
No, I think it's still going.
Does it?
Yeah, Bridgewater Carnival, I think, is the premiere in the area.
Yeah. I guess I'd never really given it that much thought, Ron, but now that I think about it, that is weird, because, we don't have a carnival in Brighton.
No, there's not a carnival in Bristol.
Maybe that needs to be your legacy. Maybe you need to spread carnival.
I guess there's St. Paul's Carnival, but it's not the same. Yeah, I don't know if it has that much cultural substance, to be honest. I don't know if Carnival enriched my life.
I suppose in Brighton we have Pride, and that has a carnival.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not autumnal.
In Pride, there's no lorry you throw pennies at.
No, I don't think you throw things. I think that would be anti-Pride.
Yeah.
But there are lorries.
There are lorries. In Pride, the Scouts don't do a bit.
They might do.
Oh, maybe they do, I guess. But it's Is that? No, but it is.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah,
but maybe it scratches that itch.
Maybe Taunton Carnival is like the sort of straight pride event that sort of right wingers have been asking for all these years. Just go to the Southwest and you've got straighties just marching for fun.
Throwing pennies at each other.
And they do it in the most heterosexual way ever of just doing it like late October in the night.
And you stand and you watch all the lorries go past, and then you march home in a big crowd of people to the car park on very far away because everything was shut closer.
Mum and Dad always used to park on the other side of that alleyway that had all the graffiti.
Yeah, you can't park there now. It's an Aldi, isn't it? Or a Lidl.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, where the sorting office used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it might still be there.
Of course, you're right.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
The times they are changing.
Maybe that's why Carnival's dying, because the car park on the other side of that path is gone.
I tell you what, Ron, I'm going to put this on Patreon ideas. I want a Ron-led detention on Carnival, please.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about like Carnival. I want to specifically talk about carnivals in the southwest of England.
Yeah, fine, done.
Yeah, all right.
Right, today's episode is triglycerides, and wait, is that you logging into Instagram?
No, not right now.
Do you have a Pixel 7a in Bristol?
Oh, that is me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's fine then.
Oh no, that's Brian Wilson, Blood Boy. That's not our Instagram. I accidentally set up my band's Instagram with our email, and sorry about that.
Good. Thrilled. You're so annoying.
Why am I annoying? That's fine.
You didn't even tell me that you had a band. And I'm sorry, you're doing the band's Instagram, but not the podcasts that you've had for 3 years.
I set up the Instagram. I am not doing the Instagram.
Oh, you make me furious. But I am going to follow you immediately.
Thanks. A lot of art is about a character called the Donkey Kong.
Oh, God. I think I'm going to unfollow you.
We sold 3 tickets to our gig.
Well done. Ron, we're doing triglycerides today. You haven't edited the episode, so we can't really talk in detail about what happens in it because neither of us can remember. But trust us, it'll be beautiful. And we'll see you after the show. Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Are you back from your salt?
God, that's frustrating. I made a cup of tea. You said that will work Monday because every other night that week I have a fancier gig that starts earlier, implying that you had a later gig today.
No.
And I said that I think that might be a hate crime against bank holidays, but I'll do it for the pod. And you said, I think just like, okay, or something. You knew this was a bank holiday. You knew what I was doing.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't read your messages properly. Yeah, so every other night I've had gigs. So basically, I have to be out by 6 p.m. every day except Sundays and Mondays, where I have the whole night free. Well, should we do a lesson? What's the lesson today?
Well, no, we're doing an outro right now, aren't we?
No, I already signed off and ended that one. This is a new episode since you left. It's next week, Ron. It's next week.
Wow, it's quite... This podcast sometimes like Monsters Inc. You can just pop through a door and you don't know which episode you're in after.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the timeline.
Do-do-do-do. Oh, look what I just found in the back of my book, Ron. A load of boggle and a garlic press design.
Yeah. I'm still a bit cross.
Why?
Oh,
Now you're up and you can do fabulous
Yeah,
things.
I will. I'll make the most of the day now because it's glorious here.
Yeah.
But I don't sleep well when I've got to get up because my brain goes from about 3 a.m. onwards. My brain will wake me up every hour and go, "Do you have to be up? Why, mate? Why aren't you up? You have to be up."
Well, you
early.
should have said. It would be much more helpful for me to do this at 7:30 because then I could have put Chad or the podcast to bed.
Then why didn't you say?
Well, I didn't read your messages properly.
No, this is your fault.
Yeah, but I'm not sad, so I don't care.
Yeah, then don't be like,
What's the
I
mole?
What mole?
I don't know. Girlfriend of the podcast, Judith, sent me a message about a program called The Mole, and I just was excited in a general way back, but I don't actually know what the show is.
I think it's something that we watched with Tom.
Oh, okay.
And were you not there with the mole? Big orange?
Doesn't ring any bells.
It's like the show where one person's the mole and then they're sabotaging tasks and stuff. We watched it at your house.
Oh, I didn't think I was there.
Oh. Okay. Anywho,
Well, you've got a real centre parting right now. Yuck. You look like a naughty boy from an animated program.
No, it's not good, is it?
No. It's a lot like Will Ferrell's character in Zoolander.
I was going to say, it's not unlike the Queen of Hearts. Anywho.
I must say, youngest sister of the podcast, Meg, is doing a very good job of keeping the children quiet in the next room.
Yeah, she's cool, man. She's good at stuff.
She's not feeling well today.
How come?
She's
Traveller's
got
tummy.
a cold, but I haven't been able to help because I've been grumpy.
Why have you been grumpy?
Because I've had a job to do that was annoying, and it was sunny, but I couldn't go out because I had to get my work done first, and I wasn't doing my work.
Yeah. No, I'm not sympathetic.
You're never sympathetic.
I'm often sympathetic, just not with you.
Exactly.
What
subject are we doing today, Ron?
You haven't asked once how my weekend was.
I did. I asked you, actually, in the outro, before you slammed off last week. I said, how was camping? Where did you go camping, Ron?
I don't think you did. I went camping in Ross-on-Wye.
Oh, lovely. Sex education country.
Canoed down the Wye River as a practice for when I'm going canoeing in Sweden.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I liked it, which is good because I'm going to go do it for 4 days.
Yeah, that's a long time. And you're missing the party of the century to be there.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It was a lovely weekend, and we did a beautiful walk yesterday.
Oh, man, you've got middle-aged fast.
What do you mean?
And you're walking and canoeing weekend in Ross-on-Wye.
I've been like this for years.
Yeah, it happened fast.
Happened fast a while ago. Right. Anyway.
What did you eat?
Okay. We barbecued both nights.
Delicious.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Were they called Lancelot and Galahad? I'll leave in that pause.
No, the first night, because my friend group has got middle-aged fast. The first night, the food was so good, it kind of wasn't a barbecue, if that makes sense. And we were all slightly disappointed. Like I'd brought these lamb steaks that I'd brined in basil, garlic, chili, and pepper for 30 hours. So like that was just, it was really, really good. And we had glazed chicken thighs and stuff. It was too good for a barbecue. And then the next day we just kind of got shitty stuff to have that barbecue kind of feeling, you know?
Well done.
I brought homemade pickles and salsa verde.
Good God, Ron. Good God.
All right, no homemade pickles for you.
Yeah, where's my mango chutters?
I haven't seen you.
Whose fault's that?
You're in New Zealand.
I've only been here less than a week, mate.
Yeah, you don't come see me. Why is it always me having to come see
Last
you?
time we saw each other was me coming to see you.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
The Eggathon. No, you were working. That doesn't count.
And I came. You always work when you come to me.
I work so that they pay for the train.
Yeah.
I
me too.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't have to come and see you. I could just go straight home from doing my work. But I come and see you.
Yeah, no, but you're not like, oh, I want to go see Ron. I'll book a gig in Bristol.
Yes, I do sometimes.
I don't believe that.
I booked a gig in Brussels purely to go and see girlfriend of the podcast, Judith.
When?
June the 17th.
That's fun for you guys.
Yeah.
I might be there. We should do lesson. I've kind of forgotten how.
Yeah. Also, I hate science.
June the 17th.
Yeah, I think so. Like a Tuesday?
Hopefully it's... yeah.
What?
Yeah, girlfriend of the podcast might have fucked up.
Where's she going to be?
I'm pretty sure that's when her mum's birthday is.
I guess I'm just doing a gig in Brussels for no reason then.
Hell. I'll leave you guys to sort that out. Laura, do you remember what we were doing last time in biology?
No, I didn't even know it was biology we were doing.
It's biology today. Last time we did triglycerides.
Oh, God. Even biology sucks at A level.
What? No, we're loving it.
No, we're not.
We are.
We're not.
Do you remember what a triglyceride is?
No.
Do you remember what
Sounds like
glycerol
explosive though, isn't it? What's nitroglyceride?
Nitroglyceride. Trinitro-toluene? No. Nitroglycerine. Isn't glycerine a thing? They use it on Mythbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Laura.
Oh, is this lipids and stuff, Ron?
Yeah,
One
we're doing
glycerol
lipids.
and 3 fatty acids.
Exactly, yes.
Ugh, none of this has gone in.
How big is a fatty acid?
I don't know.
Well, the answer is they vary in length.
Okay. Fatty acids. Varying length. Oi, fatty acid. You vary in length, bruv.
Do you remember we were talking about R groups with fatty acids?
Let me just flick back to the notes. Gosh, this was a long time ago. R groups. Do you mean esters?
No, I'd have said esters, wouldn't I?
An R group. I feel like I'm missing a lesson somewhere here. I don't.
We've talked about R groups in the context of fatty acids and amino acids.
Oh, like a real itchy nose all of a sudden. Oh, I'm squatting on the floor and it's so uncomfortable. R groups. Like a functional group?
No, what's a functional group?
A pattern of atoms that react similarly.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah.
R group. Periodicity?
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm looking for, Laura, when I ask you what something is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the sort of the description or the definition of it. It's unlikely to have pseudonyms that I want you to name.
Okay.
And when I'm asking if the pseudonym, like, because some things do have pseudonyms, some things do have multiple names. When you're throwing those at me, if you can't define those, there's not that much point in saying it. Because if I said, what's an R group? And then you said, it's an ester. And then I would say, what's an ester? You'd say, an R group. And we'd be stuck in a loop. So at some point, I need you to define something.
Oh, I can't do that.
Right, okay. When you go through sort of the decision tree in your head of what to say.
Don't have one, Ron. It's just like a steam train going full speed ahead, throwing out passenger answers willy-nilly from the windows, trying to make weight.
Okay, let's baby bear this visual metaphor. What about instead of a steam train, it's one of those things that's got someone on each side going.
My other visual was just someone stirring some soup and every now and again something blurps to the surface. Like a mushroom.
Yeah. Like crow pots. Yeah.
Oh, I love crow pots. What a
Yeah,
game.
okay. Well, yeah.
I taught Meg how to play patchwork today.
Which one's patchwork? Oh, patchwork is good.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have used this as a chance to get Meg into Magic the Gathering.
I nearly brought some decks and tried to do that. But you know how sometimes she can just shut down and decide no?
Oh, I wonder what that's like. Yes, that's something exclusively she does, yes.
Ron, as the only person that hasn't stormed out of this recording, I feel like I have the moral high ground.
You do not.
I
You
do.
Absolutely don't.
Listen, Ron, we've got 30 minutes until my bum goes completely numb. So I suggest you teach me some stuff.
Okay, well, So, okay. I need you to draw out a triglyceride.
What does it look like?
It's a glycerol along the top, and then
What's
3
glycerol on the top?
fatty acids. Look at your notes. What's the fucking point of the notes
Ron,
if you
I
don't
haven't
use them?
labelled my notes, so I don't know what anything is.
Start labeling.
What does a fatty acid
I'm
look
pretty sure
like?
it was part of the implicit contract of A level is that we wouldn't be starting from fucking zero every single lesson. You must have labelled something glycerol.
I haven't.
Alright, a glycerol is 3 carbons long.
Hang on.
Each of the carbons has a hydroxyl group on it.
What's a hydroxyl group?
Oh, fuck me.
Is that an OH?
know. Yes.
Wait, is that glycerol?
Yes. Label it.
Found it. Glycerol. I want to be a glycerol. The trouble is, I just always assume that I'll remember.
And yet you never do.
No. Okay, I've drawn a glycerol.
Okay, can you find a fatty acid?
I've got a note next to one of my glycerol drawings that says a fatty acid could join here.
Where's that pointing to?
The OH is on the bottom.
Yeah, that's right. Why would they join there? I look like Stephen King when I do this.
Yeah. It's because of that electronegativity thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So that one? This drawing here, Ron?
Yeah, the one that's labelled fatty acid, yeah.
There's a fatty acid.
Okay. Now, a triglyceride is a glycerol with 3 fatty acids attached to it. Could you draw that, please?
I don't think this is good content.
Then you should just know it.
I can't just know it. You haven't taught it to me yet.
We have. We had a whole lesson on this.
Triglycerides?
Yes.
So how do I attach 3 fatty acids?
Oh my god. Where do they join, Laura?
I don't know.
You know, you just said, like minutes ago you said.
But there's no space on this drawing. I'd have to change the drawing.
Yeah, I'm asking you to draw a new one.
We're still with 3 C's.
Yes.
Oh, bloody hell, Harry. C.
They're condensation reactions. God, you really just don't remember any of this, do you? Oh. The thing is, like, in A level, the next bit builds on the previous bit.
Yeah, but I'm stuck, Ron.
We can't just barrel in. Yeah, but then you're like, oh, I'm not sure this is good content. Then I don't know what to do. Because your brain has just aborted all of this information. And I'm left here, like, you know.
Okay, like that?
I'm like Roadrunner. What? How? What?
I attached 3 fatty acids to the C's.
Why would those be fatty acids?
You
Those
said to
are
put 3 fatty acids on.
You've connected 3 oxygens.
Well, because that's what was on there.
Yes. Why would you just take
So
that?
I've just replicated it.
Oh, no. God. Damn. damn it. What does O stand for?
Oxygens?
Yeah, so obviously that's just oxygen you've attached, and one of those carbons has 5 bonds, so that's not even fucking possible.
No, they all have 4.
What about the one in the middle?
Oh. Okay, back to the drawing board.
The whole thing's a fatty acid.
So what am I supposed to be doing?
Connecting it to the glycerol molecule. And that's the other thing, is that you were like, oh, it says on my drawing that it connects via the hydroxyl group, and then you've just connected oxygens to all the carbons.
Well, I don't like that. That's the glycerol at the top there.
Yes.
But that's very different to this other thing that I've drawn over here. Because that hasn't got OH groups everywhere. That's got H's.
You look at it again. Tell me if it doesn't have any OH groups.
No, it's got one OH group on the end.
Yep.
But that's different to what I've drawn here.
Yes, because that's a glycerol. The other one is a fatty acid.
What am I doing?
Connecting 3 fatty acids to the glycerol. In a condensation reaction, which means it loses a water molecule.
You simply have to help me more than this, Ron. You simply can't say draw it and expect that it shall be drawn.
But you've done it before.
I haven't.
You have. We've done this before. Okay, Laura.
Yeah.
If because of electronegativity, as you so smartly worked out, would mean that the hydroxyl group is the place where this would join on the glycerol, where do you think it's going to join on the fatty acid?
The hydrogen.
What do you mean?
The carbon.
What do you mean?
Those are the only 2 things in it. The hydrogen? Again? Join to the hydrogen. Will it?
You were asking for help, but you might be too thick. You might be too thick to help.
What if I am just too stupid to do A-level science?
I don't think it's what if at this point. Laura, I'm going to say what I said again. If, because of electronegativity, as you so smartly worked out, is the place where it would join on the glycerol, using electronegativity again, where do you think it would join on the fatty acid?
On the end?
What end? Which one?
The right-hand
Where?
side?
I don't know. I can't see the drawing. I don't know what you're looking at. Tell Laura.
Yeah.
How are you not picking up on the fact that if it's the hydroxyl group on one molecule, it's probably the hydroxyl group on the other one?
Fatty acid doesn't have a hydroxyl group.
Why do you always push back on this stuff? Yes, it does.
Oh, the hydroxyl group? I
Look
thought
at
the
it.
hydroxyl group was what we were joining onto it.
Hydroxyl group's just the O and the H.
Yeah.
This used to be the only thing you knew, and now we've lost that.
What are we doing?
We're doing this was supposed to be a quick refresher before we moved on to phospholipids.
Oh, fuck. This is too much. So, just go back to the original instruction. We're joining a...
Fatty acid to a glycerol.
You smush 2 hydroxyl groups together?
Yes. What's left over is a water molecule. What's water made out of?
H2O.
Yeah. So H2O is lost from that bond.
Sad. Like Dory.
Yeah. Could you draw that?
No, I have no idea how to draw that.
Glycerol, fatty acids underneath, connected where the hydroxyl groups are.
Yeah? But
Yeah.
how are they connected?
With lines. I don't understand how this is so fucking hard.
Well, because how do 2 and OHs take up the same space?
Because I'm telling you that they lose H2O. Some of it goes. We've done this before.
I don't remember doing this before.
Oh, Chris, you don't remember talking about ester bonds?
Gloria?
Yeah, you made that joke last time. Right, I'm just going to give you a drawing of it and we're just going to move on.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Yeah, but the energy's going to be low from here on.
No, Ron.
Oh, it's hard, man.
Yeah, it's hard for me too. Right, we've never done that. We have not done that. I've never seen that image before.
Yeah, we have. We've done triglycerides.
We haven't. I've never seen that.
We have.
That is new.
That's not new because we've talked about ester bonds. This is why esters came up, because there's 3 ester bonds. And you were like, you can't call one thing ester and one thing carboxylic acid.
Yeah, but I don't think we did this though.
I just don't think you have a leg to stand on saying what we did or didn't do.
Because I'm
when
looking
you
at my
don't
notes,
remember
Ron.
anything.
I've got functional group. Patterns of atoms react similarly. Ester carboxyl group. As the nucleus grows in content, protons mainly, the positive pull gets stronger, so the shells of electrons are pulled closer, giving more hold and charge to potential bonds. Periodicity, electronegativity, polar bond, and then there's a picture of a glycerol. There is nowhere that we have covered this.
Just because it's not in your notes doesn't mean we haven't covered it.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Your
does.
notes are so fallible, man. So fallible.
So are you.
I'm not.
You've got 12 minutes left. Do something brilliant.
Okay, do you see how the thing that I've just sent you is the 2 molecules that we were talking about smushed together with an HTO missing?
Yeah, it makes sense now. You've got a little index line down the left-hand side that's holding them together, and then they're coming off like little caterpillars. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's going on in the middle of that bottom one?
That's got a double bond between those 2 carbons. That actually does bring us on to one of the topics that we wanted to talk about. Laura, do you know the phrase saturated and unsaturated fats?
Yes.
Smashing. Well, essentially, obviously, what are fats for in a body, Laura?
Storage of energy.
That's one. Could you anything else that you can think of?
Insulation.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Sexiness.
Absolutely. Something else?
Cushioning.
Protection. Absolutely. We use fat tissue to protect our organs. 100%. We use fat for buoyancy.
Wow, do we?
Helps. Yeah. Helps animals float more easily. And then also we can use it for insulation of electricity as well as heat. So like the myelin sheath around your nerves, that will have triglycerides in it to stop the current from leaking elsewhere, like the rubber around a wire.
That's so interesting. That's the first bit of good biology in A-level, that.
But energy storage is obviously a big part of it. And essentially, with energy storage, it's all about the number of carbons. The number of hydrogens. Is when a hydrogen comes off, that allows you to make some energy from that material. So that's why fats are so calorically dense, because you see they're just long chains with lots of hydrogens on it. So, however, they can vary in structure. So those two on the top, the ones that are just straight single bonds between all of the carbons, those are what we call saturated fats, because there are as many hydrogens on those chains as possible.
And so when you're converting this fat to energy, you're breaking off the hydrogen, and that's where the energy is coming out.
Exactly. Yeah. That one at the bottom is an unsaturated fat.
Margarine.
So you see, it's missing some. It's missing some hydrogens.
Yeah.
But it also causes a kink in the chain, causes it to bend.
Because of the polarity?
No, just because of the structure, because of the double bond.
Oh.
Yeah. Which changes the structure on like how dense you can pack them in and whatnot. Any questions on that?
So what? So my vague knowledge is that unsaturated fats are worse for you.
Yeah. No, saturated fats are worse.
Oh. I thought unsaturated fats were worse.
No.
Why are they worse for you then?
Saturated fats?
Yeah.
I think because of the density of energy, like I was saying there, but also they play different roles in stimulating cholesterol in the blood.
Right.
And saturated fats will, increase bad cholesterol and raise good, and increase bad cholesterol, decrease good cholesterol, and vice versa.
Right. Now, the problem we've got here on is I haven't made any notes on any of that.
Well, you must have done, because otherwise we haven't covered it.
So, right, hang on. Unsaturated. That is not enough hydrogens. Okay.
Nice. The main use of triglycerides specifically, this fatty molecule that we're talking about here, is as energy storage. Something that we'll talk about more when we talk about phospholipids as well, but is the sort of hydrophobic property of fats, and then what happens when you sort of connect them with molecules of different parts. What's interesting about molecules at this stage is that different parts of it will have different properties. So you can have one half of the molecule that's hydrophobic while the other bit's hydrophilic. You understand what those two words mean?
So hydrophobic means it doesn't want to absorb in water.
Yeah. But hydrophilic means it does.
What causes that property?
Can I say don't worry about that and we'll cover it later?
But if we're talking about it, am I supposed to be able to know when something would be hydrophobic or hydrophilic?
Not yet. Well, you should be able to know that fats are hydrophobic because oil and water doesn't mix, very famously.
Yeah, okay.
To give you, I'll give you the elevator pitch of why hydrophobic and hydrophilic things are.
How do you know that Hercules had too much body fat?
Because he went from hero to 0% body fat?
No, he was hydrophobic.
Yeah, all right.
Oh.
Do you know what the concept of entropy is?
Oh, we've covered this before.
It's
not bugs and it's not mind reading. I can't remember.
Entropy is essentially the law of chaos that sort of
permeates
through everything in the universe. Hydrophobicness happens because of entropy, and it's all about like having the most bonds to everything, and then I think because it's something to do with because fats don't have any polar bonds, they can't like interact with the water right, so it's better for them to interact with themselves, and then for the water to interact with itself. But then if you've got something that's got like polar bonds or something, that can interact with the water, so that's fine.
Right.
Mm. You know, common place that entropy pops up in your life all the time?
Headphones.
Yes. Did we talk about this last time?
Yes.
Yeah, fair.
Tea
Um,
bags.
yeah. Headphones is the one that I find really interesting, though. So, triglycerides, one of the things that makes them good as an energy storage molecule is that you can, they will form like insoluble droplets within a cell. So they don't dissolve and just go everywhere. Like if you try, if as a cell you try to just sort of keep lots of sugar together, it would just dissolve and flow out of the cell. But with triglycerides, the fatty acid tails are hydrophobic. The glycerol heads are hydrophilic. So what they do is they essentially form a ball with all of the tails on the inside and then all of the heads pointing outside. So the heads are all dissolved in the water, but the inside is not.
Like those doors that go one way in the membranes.
Yeah, like something embedded into. Well, what's a membrane made out of?
Water? Fat?
No. It's made out of phospholipids. It's called the phospholipid bilayer. Right, I just sent you a diagram.
Okay, so we're looking at like a cartwheel with spaghettis going into the middle and then little peppermint shoes on. It's an insoluble droplet with a single triglyceride. Water-soluble molecules cannot pass through. Then there's some little blue circles representing those water-soluble molecules, e.g. glucose. And then these hydrophilic glycerol heads and the hydrophobic fatty acid tails.
Yeah. So this property, I'll give you a teaser of next time, but we won't go into it too much, and then we'll just finish and stop. So that's a triglyceride insoluble droplet. So what I've sent you there, this is a diagram of a membrane within a cell. So describe it to the listener, Laura.
Okay, now we've got a series of gates. The spaghettis are all in gates now. A phospholipid bilayer. So all those things that
Wait,
we're
Laura.
Yeah?
Do you remember when we did membranes before? It was lots of guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were like stood on top of each other and their
Yeah.
legs were pointing each other. The legs of the guys
Are
are
spaghetti.
fatty acids.
They're spaghetti.
They're fatty acids. The torso of the guy is a glycerol molecule. And then instead of the third fatty acid, there's a phosphate group.
It's all coming together now, Ron.
Yeah. It's all coming together. So yeah, the legs of the men go into the middle of the membrane. Then you see across the two diagrams, you've got those green squares.
Yeah.
Those are both glycerol. And then just instead of the third fatty acid, you have a phosphate group, which is hydrophilic, so it goes on the outside.
Yeah. Look at us building on our membrane knowledge.
Yeah.
I think you should regret being so horrible to me now.
No, you deserved worse. That was painful.
Not my fault you didn't teach it to me.
I did. Right. Can we stop?
We sure can, Ron. Sorry you had to get up on a bank holiday.
You're not sorry. I don't think you care.
I didn't know it was a bank holiday.
Well, I did tell you.
What kind of bank holiday is it? May Day?
Yes.
Oh.
One of the loveliest ones.
Well, enjoy your day. Now I've roused you
I'm out.
from... Enjoy your day. Now I've got you up early enough to enjoy it.
I got up at 7:15.
You get more bank holiday because of me.
Yeah, but then you said aroused and ruined it.
Oh, this quiz is a real burden to me.
Well, we're kind of doing the quiz across 2 episodes because you retained so little information.
I'll be
about
okay if you don't
lipids.
make me draw any of the fatty acids.
Yeah, well, we're not going to draw anything because, again, the sort of retention. But you're going to have to describe stuff.
I'm really good at water retention.
Are you?
Yep.
How so?
I always just look really bloated.
But you never drink water.
I do, Rana. And especially in New Zealand, I've been drinking so much water.
Oh, yes? The water very good there?
No, I've been to the gym every day since I've been here.
Nice.
Except one day. And so I've been very thirsty.
Yeah.
Also, we're living on the 16th floor, and I think that's making me thirsty.
You going up the steps every time?
No, Ron, no. Although, I feel quite suspicious. When I was coming in just now, there was a woman hanging around in the lobby, already in the building. And it's one way you have to swipe to get in the gate to the complex, and then you have to swipe to get into the building. But she hadn't pressed the lift button. But you don't have to swipe to press the lift button. And I pressed the lift button, I got in the lift, and I did my key fob and pressed 16th floor. She got in, didn't press any button for any floor, just came up to the 16th floor with me, and then immediately headed to the stairs. What kind of lift bingo is this woman playing?
Yeah, that's tailgating.
How did she get in the building? Did she tailgate someone else?
Probably tailgated someone else, yeah.
So what floor is she going to?
Dunno. Usually with these things, though, if you have to swab to get in the lift, you'll have to swab to get in from the staircase as well.
Oh. She didn't have to
So-
swab to get out to the staircase from my floor.
No, because that would be a huge fire hazard.
That's true. Yeah. Smart.
All right, Laura, what's glycerol then?
It's a fat. What do you mean, what's glycerol? You didn't tell me what glycerol was.
Don't look in your notes. That's not how this works at A level.
Well, I remember us talking about glycerol. I don't think you told me what it is. It's a hydrocarbon chain with hydroxyl groups attached to it.
How many?
3 carbon.
And how long's the
Three carbon chain.
And how many hydroxyl groups?
I'm going to say 3.
What molecules is glycerol a part of?
Triglycerides.
And
Entropy.
don't just say stuff. 4 out of 5 marks. Whoa!
What happened?
I spilled tea on my trackpad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Laura, will I mop this with my sleeve? Please tell me what triglyceride is.
Don't mop it with your sleeve. That's a nice jumper.
It is. Oh.
Go and
I'll be
get some
back.
tissue. I've got a fluffy kiwi here. If I was in the room with you, we could absorb it into this. That's the sound of a kiwi. This is nephew of the podcast Souvenir from Auckland Zoo. That's the sound a kiwi makes, I think. He's called his kiwi Fluffy because it is quite fluffy, but obviously a real kiwi has feathers, very different from fluff. Oh, you've got your corridor parting again. Something about Ron running down his corridor that makes his hair flatten like a naughty boarding school attendee.
My hair is extra fluffy at the moment. After I left, I popped my head back in to see if you were cheating by looking at your notes, but no, you were staring vacantly forward, pressing something against your mouth like a gormless twonk.
I wasn't. I was playing a kiwi noise for the listeners.
Oh, I see.
Did you think I was
horrid.
just sniffing this kiwi?
I did think you were just sniffing the kiwi.
I was explaining to them about the kiwi. I was telling them that it's called Fluffy. And I was playing them the noise.
All right, we're back to normal. Laura, what's a triglyceride?
Triglyceride, Ron, is 3 glycerol molecules joined together by fatty acids.
No.
I thought that was the one with the, like, spine.
Yeah, but it's 3 fatty acids joined together by a glycerol, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. Laura, what's an R group?
Ugh. I was just a bit sick in my mouth.
Oh, God.
That's some sick.
Oh, don't show me some rice that you haven't chewed
That's
well
crisps.
enough.
I ate so many crisps this afternoon. Ugh. What was the question?
What's an R group?
I really don't know.
Right, what's an ester bond?
I don't know. We didn't cover that last time. That was in the
What's a
lesson before.
phospholipid?
Is that the membrane, guys, with the hydrophobic and hydrophilic?
You tell me.
Is it?
You tell me.
No. Yeah, it's that.
Describe the structure of a phospholipid.
Oh, they got tails and they curl them up inside themselves and then they have their heads on the outside and they don't want to touch the water, but the head does. Or they have a cartwheel and they have all their feet sticking in the middle and then they have like little turquoise heads going around the outside. Or sometimes it's like an ice cream sandwich with spaghetti legs touching each other foot to foot in the bed and then turquoise heads running down
Well, hold
the side.
that thought because you're getting no marks for this question. But Laura, what's a phospholipid bilayer?
A membrane.
Describe the structure of it.
The feet touching each other in the middle and then the heads pointing out.
Why?
Because they're hydrophilic feet. Hydrophobic heads.
So close, but no cigar.
Other way around? Hydrophobic feet?
Yeah.
Hydrophobic
Yeah.
heads?
Because the water's on the outside, isn't it?
I don't know.
No.
There was no water in the picture I saw.
Well, that was bad. I think that was like 4 out of maybe 15 or 16.
But you can feel that I've engaged with it, can't you?
I don't know. When I asked you what an R group was, you just flatly said, I don't know.
I don't think you've told me. Wait, isn't an R group when you
We've
just...
covered R groups upwards of 4 times.
I do not believe that to be true. Is an R group where you just write R and you just say, that is the picture's going off a bit and I don't need to draw all of that, so we'll just call it an R.
Yeah, it's kind of the variable placeholder for molecules.
There you go. I did it.
Too late. And also, I said that, not you.
No, you didn't. I said it, and then you just rephrased what I said.
Quiz over, Laura. You're bad. Boo.
There we go, Ron. That was
Carnival was also like the first time that you're allowed to just hang out with your mates in the evening outside.
Yeah, I remember getting shouted at by a woman for making too much noise at Carnival. That's in one of my core memories. She just turned around and screamed in my face, and I was like, okay, I guess we must have been making too much noise, but it's literally a carnival. So that feels like an overreaction.
I'm not siding with this woman, but I do really remember being quite a quiet, solemn affair.
Well, then maybe if more people had behaved like me, it would have had the vibe that a carnival is supposed to have.
No, I think you just quietly watched them go by. Like, I don't even really remember, like, clapping.
Ron, you're not making this sound great. I can see why other towns are not that interested in having one. Do you want to invite all the teens of your local area to stand in silence and watch a miserable procession?
Yeah, and then men that, like, that I don't think exist in Taunton, not a carnival, come round with trolleys full of shiny objects that you are
Yeah.
not allowed.
No. All the other little children are allowed to buy them, but they're plastic tat, so we're not allowed them.
No, we were not allowed them. One time I did get a balloon in the shape of a dinosaur, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Balloons were okay. Balloons are not plastic tat.
I do understand not wanting 4 children in the back of the car with things that make whizzy noises.
Yeah.
Well, you really zoned out for a second there. What happened, Ron?
So I was trying. I don't know who it was or where it was, but one of my neighbors stood in front of a light in front of the window, I think, because I just saw like a person projected on the wall at the other end of the garden. It was weird. Yeah, no. I mean, like, I think even if our parents had have bought from the trolley man, they weren't getting us all something. It would have been one thing that we'd have passed around.
It would have been something for you, and we'd all have had to accept. He's the youngest.
Yeah, but I'd have shared. I was cool.
You wouldn't.
I would have.
No, you wouldn't.
I would have. I
You
was a
wouldn't.
lovely,
You'd have-
placid boy.
Yeah, but you'd have pouted, and then Dad would have gone.
That's not true.
That is true.
Let's not rewrite history. Everyone loves Ron.
Yes, everyone had to love Ron. Because Ron was king of the family.
That's not true.
We'll get Sisters of the Podcast on and we'll take a vote on how Ron would have behaved if Ron had been bought what Ron wanted and everybody else had just had to accept it.
I don't like that. We're just agreeing that we were never bought any of these things. But now the narrative is that if we had, I'd have been a twat about it.
Not a twat, just a kid about it.
But then why is that my fault?
It's not your fault, Ron. It's just what would have happened. You're trying to paint yourself out as being some sort of St. Francis of toddlers, and that's just not how it went down. Have you seen the home video of you when you've walked across that janky path on holiday and then you just stand on the other side of it wailing until someone comes to collect you?
I needed help.
Yeah. You always got help.
I think that's right for a baby.
Sure, Ron.
Babies need help.
I'm just saying that's not what the rest of us got because we didn't have us.
I'm sure if you'd walked on a gravel path, someone would have picked you up.
Do you think? Or do you think they'd have gone, well, you got yourself over there, you can get yourself back? Which one sounds more
Yeah.
likely for our parents' parenting style?
I do remember climbing into a tree once and just getting left there. Yeah.
Anyway.
Edit this out.
It's your edit, mate. Don't tell me to edit it out. You have to remember to edit it out.
Okay. Me, Ron, edit this out. But you remember when I got stuck in that tree? he just hung there like a sad bear.
I do.
Oh, that was so funny. I might just bleep the name. That was so funny. Fucking hell. Well, class dismissed.
No, Ron, no. Listen, I hope you enjoyed the Minecraft episode that went out on Friday. Ron, we've got a register to do.
Do we?
Yeah. Here, I'll send it to you and you can read it.
Okay. Do you want to do the rumpety bums?
Yes. Rumpety. Hang on. I can go one better than that. You don't need to follow the link. I'll just copy and paste there.
Yeah, I just want
that'll make more sense. Okay.
https://docs.google.com/document/d/1 I might edit that out. I didn't think that was as funny as I thought it would be. All right, do the rumpty bumps.
Stop lighting matches, you fucking weirdo.
Don't worry, I'm editing it out. I don't like your rumpty bumps. A big Lexx Education thank you to Jess Mitchell. Jess is the lab rat in charge of battery inventory. If there's a battery in the lab, you had better believe Jess has got it in their hand. What you might not believe, though, is how many batteries there are. You might be like 7. Jess would be like, no. And then you might be like 15. Jess would be like, can you imagine if there were enough patrons for us to be able to afford 15 batteries? And then Jess will roll their eyes and immediately begin counting the batteries again. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks for becoming a patron. And if you want to make us the happiest little kids without a carnival, then please join our Patreon, patreon.com/Lexx Education. It keeps the podcast advert free. It keeps it producer free and meddling hand free. It keeps it the podcast you love.
Laura, don't lie to the listeners. The Patreon doesn't keep their podcast advert free. The complete lack of interest from advertisers keeps the podcast advert free.
Shut up, Ron.
We would love to advertise on this podcast.
True. Have you got something that you want advertising? How about that? Pay us to do an advert and we'll bloody do it.
£5 and we'll endorse anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Class dismissed.